if we get into the topic of what we actually need to consider, you need to do the outreach first, right? You need to do the outreach first because when you are early in the stage of building your predictable pipeline, right, of inbound leads and inbound opportunity, you have to also bear in mind that you may just not be as visible as you felt that you were, right? You may have all the expertise in the world and you're very much good at what you do, but you haven't been able to convert that into a way that makes you more visible and credible to the people that you actually want to reach out to directly. So, through that approach, you have to ensure through the idea of getting yourself out there and putting yourself out there, right? You have to be the person to do the outreach first. You can't be someone who decides to just sit around waiting for opportunities to come in the initial stages because you're just not known enough and you're just not perceived to be someone that is active in their pursuit of building their brand in real time, which means naturally people aren't going to reach out to you as much as they would if you spent the time to build your brand in the way that it needs to be developed over time. And with all this stuff, it's all about the idea of compounding. The more that you do it, the more that you have the likelihood of it being a lot more predictable. But in the early initial stages, you have to be someone that just reaches out to people. And, some people may say it could be damaging to the ego, but when it comes down to building a revenue generating brand, we don't have time to be thinking about the ego, right? We need to be there collaborating and having those strategic partnerships with people who will allow us to have that level of borrowed credibility that will then allow us to continue to flourish and thrive when it comes down to our pursuit of building a revenue generating brand. So, with that, I find it quite interesting because before I started my career in PR, I always sort of was amazed by some people and how they were able to secure so many various opportunities. And initially, I just felt that it was just because they were different. They were just them. They had the sort of level of credibility and visibility to match. So it only made sense as to why they're getting so many opportunities. But when I entered the industry, I then learned that it is literally just a case of people reaching out. That's it. That is the secret to a lot of the success stories that you see. People were either humble enough to do the outreach themselves and connect with people directly in order to make those connections and those sort of situations happen, or they were big enough already, or they had the sort of budget to invest in a PR team that just done it for them. That's it. That's literally it. But yeah, we spend so much time thinking that we're going to be sitting around waiting for people to reach out to us directly that we don't go above our means to build our brand to the point where we can establish opportunities to PR ourselves, right? And I always say, with the level of PR, you are able to enhance your reputation and you're able to get that to a wider demographic of people, right? Especially if you're looking to target your ICP, why not look at positioning yourself within various different publications and press and broadcasters that are immersed in the world of your ICP? So that by then you can then position yourself as an obvious choice because based on that, you're in their world and you've now documented and showcased how you were able to do that in real time. So you doing that only adds to that level of credibility. But the only problem is that I don't know whether it's the ego thing. I don't know whether it's you being shy, or I don't know what it is. But what I do know is that you're not doing the outreach. You're not reaching out to the people, and then you're just not positioning yourself in the right place to be known as that person. Because ultimately, you have to remember everyone is living their own life, right? Everyone has their own lives to live. And through that, they have their own problems and issues and whatever. They are not thinking about you or me as much as we think. And that is the sort of reality that we need to establish within ourselves. And we need to eat humble pie with this one, to be honest with you. We need to be really understanding that, you know, and you are a very important person. Do not get me wrong. But as far as people thinking about us 24/7, is not the case. It's not the case. We need to proactively position ourselves in a place of being a key person of influence and an obvious choice so more people think about us. But on a normal day, they're not thinking about us as much as we would like them to. So that means that we need to go above our means and above the sort of ways that we've been doing things already in order to target and reach out to the right people, right? So I would say, please develop your ecosystem, your own sort of map that you are able to produce, where you are able to list out all the various different publications, all the various different podcasts, right? All the various different people within your niche or your industry, right? That you consider as, whether it's a competitor or someone that you consider as an industry peer, right? Look at them and list them all down and have that as a map that you can then use to establish who you would reach out to, who you would target, who you would use to effectively develop a mutual relationship with, where you can have strategic partnerships that allow you to have that level of borrowed credibility. Do not wait around for opportunities to come your way and you're not in a position where you've now built opportunities off the back of what you have already, right? You have to understand that, and you cannot forget this part because it's incredibly important. And a lot of the stuff that I share in my videos, I share from prior experience in terms of the things that I didn't do or the things that I had to learn on the journey of doing so, right? So, with that, it's in your best interest to reach out first. Reach out first, get your name out there, establish yourself within your industry and your niche, and then you will then start to see an influx of predictable inbound pipeline off the back of you doing the initial work and the initial outreach to get your name in all these various different places for people to then realize who you are, your expertise, and why you are the key person of influence and the obvious choice, right? So please like, comment, and subscribe if this video was useful. And also comment below if you are going to start doing some outreach, because that is the aim of the game right now. That is the aim of the game, because we just can't sit around and wait for opportunities to come our way. We need to be proactive in our approach, because a lot of the times we will come across people, seeing them everywhere doing so many amazing things, doing different things that we would look and think to ourselves, how did they get that opportunity? And then we will then be cheeky to say that it's luck. No, 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 no. It wasn't luck. They went out of their way to put themselves out there, or they invested in a team that done it on their behalf while they were able to focus on the more high leverage aspects of their business in order to generate more revenue, right? It all goes part parcel of how it goes and how you are able to then build your level of brand authority and align yourself with a team that were able to put you forward for opportunities, and then you then continue to reinvest all those opportunities as far as content opportunities and reinvest that into the content, and then you're redistributing content to showcase that level of proof that you are who you say you are. You have those levels of expertise to match, right? So on that note, that's it for this video, but please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.